It's said that you do not, unless you can stand away from your business and your business continues to run, you have not started business. Now, I make bold to say that in the retail profession, apart from yourself, Prince Julius Adelu, and a few other pharmacists, who if you are going to live for like 40 more years, but who if they die today, the business will continue. JK is one of the few pharmacists that have done that. How did you do it?
Thank you very much. I think you're talking about what you do. You've got to ask yourself. You listen to you watch the Steve Jobs thing, and he says what drives him is, what if he's to die today? The question is, from day one, I had issues. I was very clear that I was not going to run a family business. In other words, my pharmacy business was not going to be strictly for family. If I had a family member who was going to join, fine, but that was not my concept. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's wrong to have a family business, because if you take the Asian model and all the others, you see that it works very well. But I had said I wasn't running a family business. That's one. Secondly, I was not going to constrain myself into any box of being just a pharmacist and a pharmacist only. I had no idea I was going to go into politics. But for many of you, you want to have other things to do. Some want to go into the ministry, they want to go to religious issues, they want to run for politics, they want to do all kinds of things. So you tell yourself from day one, this business or this practice must run without me. So if you have that at the back of your mind, especially the women, you want to look after your homes and things like that, you cannot want to run a practice that everything stops on your table. And therefore, your first investment then will be in the people. In the people. So coming from that background, I said we must invest in the people. I was coming from I worked somewhere else where I put in everything I had, and I then said I was going. And I can tell you it was a bit of a bitter separation. How can you go? You know, that kind of thing. But for me, it taught me two things. When you start yours, you got to train and empower those that work with you if you want to be able to do other things. And that means that you must give them everything that you would like. You can't say you are the boss. If the boss is going to buy a Mercedes Benz, then you got to get a car for your people. If they can't buy a Mercedes Benz, then they must buy something that makes them comfortable. Now, I'm speaking from my experience. I was introduced as CEO. I've since been retired as CEO. So let me just say that I'm speaking from, I'm still part of the business. So you must come from that background that my staff are my strength. There are no two ways of running a business. The way, like you heard Buki say, you run Toyota is the same way you will run Health Plus or JK or Alpha. So the problems that we face is the same problem Toyota will face. People. You don't get good people all the time. In fact, you don't get good people most of the time. So I heard the gentleman talk about the problems he's had with pharmacists. It's a universal problem. So you are only going to tell yourself that I will keep bringing them in. I will keep training them. Now that is the difficult part, because those who even consult for us encourage you to train, but many of them I speak to now say they are not training their own people any longer. And I say why? Say because they go. I take the American model, and this I picked up from the Citibank model. Citibank, you just take a fixed cost every year on training. It doesn't matter whether 80% of them go. It's a fixed cost for you. The next year you're training again, because the truth is, if you don't train, then you're not going to be able to leave that business. You're not going to be able to allow it to run without you. So first take it in mind that you got to empower your staff in a way that you can feel comfortable. You've got to make them feel a part of the business. They must feel a part of it. They must be empowered to take decisions. My own drivers in JK will face a Mrs. Buki George if they have to on behalf of JK, and probably have all the information that is required to answer whatever question she needs to ask about the company. And I'm happy. It's unfortunate Larry is left. When we were dealing with Pfizer, it was my drivers that were doing business in terms of transactions, in terms of what was going on. Not because I couldn't get other people, but because I just felt that there were things that they could address. So from the bottom to the top, you got to empower your staff. When it's going good, they know it's going good. When it's going bad, they know it's going bad. Nobody's held accountable. Mr. Agbaje doesn't come and take money and put in his pocket. He earns his salary, and that's reality. And we all earn his salary. You heard Buki talk about retreat. Hey, it feels good. You go on a retreat. You'll be surprised at what you know. When you run your own business, you are father, mother, grandfather, godfather to your staff. They look up to you if you're a good model. But if they feel that you are just out there for yourself, then why should they put theirs in? Don't forget that your contract with your staff, they owe you to give the best. They owe you to give their best. But you owe it to ensure that they're able to give their best, to provide that enabling environment, to give the best. And that has helped. Again, in building, especially for those who are starting, I used to say that when pharmacists say when they're in their practice, they sell. But the moment they go, the sales fall. And I say, well, so why? Because you are not cloning yourself, the good parts at least of yourself. Don't clone the bad one, but clone the good part of yourself, so that those that work with you take the good part that makes you sell when you are there, so that they too will sell when they are the only ones there and you are not there. And so at the beginning, you must put your stamp. Your own culture, your own values must be impressed. I have people who have worked with me for over 25 years. When others come in, be they pharmacists or whatever, those people are going to tell them, hey, Mr. Agbaje, if he hears this one, he's not going to accept it, because they know what Mr. Agbaje stands for. And that's very important, that the value of this company, the vision, the mission statement is very clear to those who have been there, such that those who come in immediately catch the train and know. So when they know they can't fit in, then they're allowed to go. So learn to do that, and it's very important. I think I may not have been too organized in my presentation, but I hope you pick the points. If you can pick those points, then we'll take it from there. Thank you very much.